Not at a conference, he's on the beach.
I wish that's where I was at, but I am at the sheriff's conference in Grand Rapids, so, but I would rather be on that beach.
I don't know, is that tree moving back there or not?
That's actually the live shot of a couple years ago on a vacation, so.
That smart place to take a picture of your office and be at.
Oh. We are recording and YouTubing when you are ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have 9 o'clock, so I'd like to call to order the Isabella County Board of Commissioners Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee. First up, is there any need to change the agenda as presented? No. Okay, we'll accept the agenda as presented. Quite a lengthy set here today. We will move it along. At this time, I'd like to do a call to the public. Is there any public here that would like to speak? I see none in the room raising their hand. Is there anybody online or on the phone? Okay, we'll have another opportunity towards the end of the meeting for a call to the public. So moving right into the agenda items, we'll do consider approving the coronavirus emergency supplemental funding, the CESF 2021-20 grant contract extension between Michigan State Police and Isabella County Prosecuting Attorney's Office through September 30th, 2023, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. So, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, what do we have today?
Well, this is just an extension of the existing grant. So it's set to expire 12/31 of this year. And they have extended it or offered an extension through September of next year. So we currently have 2 employees that we have working on that grant, and we have still a sizable amount of money left. So we would certainly like to be able to keep them working and extend that for that time period. So it's a grant through the MSP. It was designed to give us some extra help to help catch up on the backlog from COVID. So
Keep utilizing that money. It's good.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't
Yeah,
have any
I don't
questions.
have any
But
questions.
the 2 positions funded through this, are those the crime advocates?
no,
No,
these
that's
are
another thing.
additional. Yeah, we
Okay.
have one that's working full-time, helping us to keep up with our paperwork as far as closing cases and things like that. And then the other one is part-time. And she is working with the victim advocates to try to help them get caught up on their stuff. So.
All right. I move to consider approving the coronavirus emergency supplemental funding CESF 2021-020 grant contract extension between Michigan State Police and Isabella County Prosecuting Attorney's Office through September 30th, 2023 to the Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday.
Okay, and I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same. That has passed. We will move that forward to the work session.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have consider approving the fiscal year 2023 community correction grant contract in the amount of $75,000 and authorize board chair. We have Greg Curtis, board administrator. See,
Andy Foster.
yes. You guys will have to
Has it been a
explain-
full year? No,
It has not been a full.
not yet.
Oh,
Wow. It seems like it's been over a year, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, I would know. Wow.
Okay. Where's yours? Get it?
So here we are, right?
Mhm.
So this is a pretty standard grant again. We've made some changes over the last couple of years. The most, the biggest change and the best is we have a foster who take care of this program, so doing an outstanding job. So what we're here for is to ask the chairman to sign the grant award of 75,000. Looks like we asked for 82,751, but complete 75,000, which is 7,000 more than the year we just finished. So that's what the way it is. We're doing Thinking Matters internally with our existing staff. So that has really allowed us to save a lot of money and move those funds to other areas, better serve the public. So that's what I have.
Yeah, we changed some of the utilization around. We've increased in some areas, decreased in some others. Overall, we increased our utilization a little bit, expectations, but it's similar to what it was last year, so. As a new guy, I wasn't, gonna go in and rock the boat up.
Right.
A little bit at a time. right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ready to take on 2023,
Yeah,
whatever it brings. All right,
I don't have
I have
any
any-
other questions.
yeah.
It's pretty
No,
standard.
sounds good.
No. All right, I'll move to bring forward the consideration of approving fiscal year 2023 community corrections grant contract in the amount of 75,000 to the Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday.
And I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Anybody? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say. The motion has passed and we will move that forward to the work session. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay, next up, we got you, Carrie, still here, so we got
Sit here a minute.
Mhm.
gonna sit here for a minute, so, next up, we got consider approval of the fiscal year 2023 adult drug court program contract in the amount of 70,000 authorized board chair to allow the court administrator to utilize DocuSign to sign the contract. So, floor is yours.
Yours.
Yeah, we've seen this several
A few
times.
times, it'll be almost 20 here.
Yes, they-
In the new year.
Wow.
Yeah. I haven't been here for 20, but. So we asked for 139,000 and we got 70,000, which is 3,500 more than last 2 years. So to start, so that'll cover my wages and most of my fringes. We have a lot of money left in the 2% that we're gonna use for some other pieces of the program.
So I always see that, the cost request for the adult always higher and always get much less than the child. and everything else. It's
I don't-
State ideas or?
I don't know if it's because they only have a certain amount to give drug courts and there's so many, they have to
It's
split it
just-
up. That's
Yeah, it's
my
just
thought.
a single pool.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's some of it, and I think the other part of it is historically, we operated on less and didn't always ask for more. So when we
Right.
were operating on, $40,000, $50,000 and the county was supplementing the rest, it became the pattern that they didn't think we needed it. So now we keep asking for more and they're sort of started to inch it up a little bit. But there is a lot of drug courts out there.
Has the pie increased that much? Or it's always been kind of stable? What's the increase been for the total program? Or has it been just stable? We've never seen those amounts.
I don't know what those amounts they allocate overall are, but we haven't received any information that they've
Okay,
provided more money. So more drug courts in the program, same amount of money.
But we got 35 at the point.
yes, so
It's a start.
To start,
we'll take it. Yes, definitely. It's been a program we supported ever since I've been here, so. Well worth the investment. Any more questions?
I'll move to bring forward the, excuse me, consideration of approving the fiscal year 2023 adult drug court program contract in the amount of 70,000 to the Board of Commissioners. on Tuesday.
And I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Being none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Host the same.
Sorry.
So. That was close. We were just talking about that today. What happens if we don't pass it? The motion has passed. Motion has passed, so now we'll move that forward to work session.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, I'm the one that's supposed to be kind of working. on
Well, you
it.
know, a little itch in my throat. I got my COVID and my flu booster here.
Oh.
Little congestion yesterday morning and today, and
Oh, I know it's sleepy dust, but we were in the wrong direction last year. One started
thanks.
Welcome.
Oh,
beautiful, the other one we were in a cloud of dust. So, okay, moving on. Consider approving the fiscal year 2023 juvenile drug court program contract in the amount of $92,500 and authorized board chair to allow the court administrator, excuse me, to utilize DocuSign to sign the contract. So really similar with the last one, except this is the juvenile portion. So it's something the program we've supported. So
So my,
changes in the contract.
sorry, my name is Maria Rise and I am the juvenile drug court coordinator. For the last 2 years, we were, well, maybe 3, we were awarded $80,000 consistently. No matter how much I tried to improve on the grant writing process, it was $88,000. And this year we asked for 109-ish. And we were awarded 9,200, which is better than a kick in the teeth, right? So that was good. And the grant funds will go to cover, again, like Keith's, my salary and majority of my fringes.
This program is also supported by the Child Care Fund. So outside of Maria's salary and fringes, the Child Care Fund pretty much covers the other costs associated with this program at the 50%. So
Little bit off this topic, but as long as I got you here, you brought up the child care fund. I know we talked last time where it was down and we said because the beds were so hard. Is that improved any, or is it still an issue of finding beds in it?
beds are still very difficult. The state has actually started a task force. Part of the task force goals are to address the bed issue, which may be addressed through making it more difficult to place children versus providing more beds. So they may increase the requirements that courts have before they can look at outside placement. So we'll just wait and see what that task force says, but that's the progress on that.
Okay. I know it was off topic, but gets very curious about that. What's going on?
It's adjacent.
Close. Never take an opportunity to ask a question, somebody that
Yeah.
you have a question, right?
Absolutely fine.
Okay, is there any more discussion?
I move to bring forward the consideration approving fiscal year 2023 juvenile drug court program contract in the amount of $90,500. Board Commissioners meeting on Tuesday.
Okay, I will support that. Is there more discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, to say. We will move that forward to the work session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up. That seat's getting, get off. You're just
I'm
sitting
pretty
right
comfy
there.
right
Yeah.
So these people that are the experts do the talking and all that.
Okay, we have considered approving fiscal year 2023 Swiss Insurance Sanction Probation Program contract in the amount of $213,000 and authorize board chair to allow the court administrator to utilize DocuSign to sign the contract. So same thing. This is a program that we've always supported. It's been with the county for a long time. And Carolyn,
2011.
like to talk about any changes from the last year's contract.
I'm Carolyn Johnson.
Okay.
Hi. Our program's been in existence since 2011. And we asked for 213,000 this year, and that is what we got. $8,000 more than we got last year. I think there have been 3 or 4 counties that have not applied for Swift Insure grants. So, I mean, I know you were talking about what the money pot looks like. I don't know how much was given to the Swift Insurer in Michigan, but we have always done very well with our program. I mean, we used to get 300 and some thousand dollars when it first started. And then that got smaller as the other counties jumped on. So we have always been able to work within the means of our grant. And I expect that to happen this year.
Don't have any questions?
All right, I'll make the motion. Move to bring forward the consideration approval of the fiscal year 2023 Swift Insure Sanctions Probation Program contract in the amount of 213,000 to the Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday.
I will support that. Any more discussion? Seeing none, no second, or proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That has passed. We'll move that forward and thank you, Carolyn, and
Thank you for your support.
thank you for actually all the increase this time. So
Yeah.
great job.
These grant writers over here.
Yeah.
You realize you're gonna be master grant writers?
It's better every year.
Yeah.
Learn new things
Practice,
every year.
practice is perfect.
That's right.
Really.
Yeah, so thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, you can see as meeting goes on, we're getting more sun coming.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Doing fine.
More coffee, there you go.
Caffeine. Okay, last up on our, no, wait a minute, we got two more items. Consider approving the grant agreement between the Department of Technology Management and Budget Office of the Michigan Public Safety Communication Systems in Isabella County in an amount of $4,800,000 and authorized board chair to sign the same. And we have on the phone Sheriff Maine. So Sheriff, the floor is yours.
Okay, so this program, or this possibility, I guess, that we've gotten appropriation from the Lansing. This was a conversation that's been going on for a long time, and it started on CMU campus, where they were struggling with our communication systems in their buildings. We see that in the heavy construction, even the box stores in the city, the hospitals, the schools, even in the township of Union where our heavy load is, a degradation of communications on our radios. They just doesn't penetrate those buildings very well. So we were CMU had been focusing, trying to get some funds to put some equipment on their one of their buildings. We did actually do a test a few years back and it worked very well. So we were looking for a dollar amount to make that happen. They had reached out to me because they were falling short and we were looking at ARPA dollars and all kinds of stuff. That conversation led us to have a meeting with Representative Roger Hulk and Senator Rick Altman, along with their CMU's lobbyist for Lansing and the public safety chiefs of the department or the county. The long story short is they said we were asking too little, we needed to ask more. So we threw a dart at the board and said 4.8 million, and that's what we were appropriated from Lansing, signed by the governor. So with that being said, we decided, well, we're going to take those funds and we're going to really fix our communications issues in the east side of our county. So from starting from Union Township all the way out past the tribe and tribal entities, our plan is to get a tower or towers and ancillary equipment to make sure all of those facilities, those heavy constructions are covered, that we can communicate inside those buildings on our radios when disasters strike. Part of this will go down to the Shepherd schools. We want to make sure we can communicate in the Shepherd schools. We're a little ways away from the one tower we have in our county that the state has, which is in the west part of our county. And then if there was any funds left over, kind of a third phase, if there was some funding left over, we were going to try to refresh some radios and stuff. We've had our current radios now going on 10, 15 years, and we need to do an upgrade to them. So long story short, this contract and agreement is with the state of Michigan, MPSCS, to manage this project. We've been meeting with them. We've been meeting with Motorola. We're trying to put 2 or 3 good options together for the public safety chiefs to look at here in the next few weeks and make a determination. The one big thing that we needed to determine, and I talked to Administrator Controller Frost, I think we're in agreement that we could, as the county receiving the funds, we could pay the bills and then reimburse from the state, or the state could do the direct payment to Motorola, which is the sole source vendor for the project. We opted to use the state, going directly to Motorola. There will be a two-party signature. So basically, I will receive the invoices to make sure that they're legitimate and they're the milestones that we're looking for. I will sign off on them, and then the state MPSCS will submit those to Motorola for payment, kind of bypassing our folks, creating a double level of work basically. But we'll have a good record and the whole thing. So all in all, it costs the county nothing, but we're going to do a drastic and very much needed upgrade to our communication systems throughout the county.
Okay, Sheriff, this is Commissioner Engler. Hey, when I came on the board like 5.5 years ago, the west side of the county, it was a big issue about the radios and how they weren't working and everything. And there's still some spots in there that do not have internet because they cannot get through there. Will this system alleviate, get to the west side where some of those hills and more rural parts?
So the west part of the county, and it's it's a long story, but the west part of the county, when the FCC sold off the D-band and then split the frequencies, basically, it degraded the system to the point where we couldn't use our VHF and even some digital radios that we tried for a while in the west part of the county. So the west part of the county fire departments and law enforcement, of course, had already switched over to this 800 megahertz system. We don't see that issue anymore in the west side. Our 800 megahertz, they do work very well. The 6306 tower is in the west part of the county, so we take advantage of that. It's been a little slower transition in the east side for the fire departments and so forth, just because they didn't have that tower over there, and there was a lot of degradation. There was a lot of in-building coverage issues. So we really don't see that on the west side anymore. That we've been using the 800s for the last 4, 5, 6 years for fire departments. Using them daily for law enforcement, we don't see them. Typically, if we do find a spot that doesn't work real well, you take a step 2 or 3 paces one way or the other, it picks up. There are some steel buildings that it doesn't work. We get some heavy construction like Moorbark or Bandit or some of the Randell, some of those big businesses that they do struggle. Those are never going to be perfect, and there are ways around using a non-repeated type channel that are on our radios to use command and control. So it really won't affect a whole lot in the west part of our county, this project, but it is going to increase the east part, and it really does increase the most potential population and visitors and events and concerts and CMU games and stuff that we really need to address in the east part of the county.
Chairman, this is Commissioner Steve Sweeney. So who's doing all the footwork for this? Is Motorola doing best locations, and where would be looking for property for sites?
So this is a little unorthodox even for MPSCS, the state's radio group, how this money came about. We weren't the only ones. There was some other counties that got some one-time appropriations for this kind of project. So we've kind of been working through like, what does it really look like? Currently, I think we're kind of getting into a groove now where we're good. We did meet with MPSCS and told them like, these are the things in order that we want to accomplish. They took those marching orders back. They met with Motorola, who again is their sole source vendor for the projects and all things radios for them, and said this is what they want to accomplish. So MPSCS was able to generate 4 locations that they thought would work, a couple on CMU campus and a couple off, but still in the city of Mount Pleasant or maybe Union Township, but very close. So then we met with Motorola. They showed us some new maps. The one site, and frankly, it's at the dispatch center, looks like it has some great coverage capabilities for both CMU and all the way out to the tribe. So that's kind of right now the primary that we're looking at, but they're putting a bunch of stuff together, and then we're going to, like I said, share that with the public safety chiefs here in a couple of weeks and show them what we've narrowed down to. It doesn't mean we're locked into it. Doesn't mean that's the only thing that we're going to do or anything we can do, but that one may give us our biggest bang for our buck to start with and accomplish a lot of our goals. Unfortunately, you can look at map coverages and stuff, but if you don't, for me and a lot of my partners, if we don't go out and push the button on a radio and see that it works, it's kind of hard to really believe a map. So, but you know, in history, the maps have been fairly accurate, you know, and shown. So if we can get this piece up and then actually go out and do some testing, we'll know where our shortfalls are. Now we can go back to the remaining funds and say, okay, we know we've missed this building, or this area is not good. What do we do? Is it a separate tower? Is it a connection site? Is it a VDAs, which are bidirectional antennas? I mean, there's some options and things to do that. So it's not we're not spending it all in one fail swoop. We're gonna do it in phases here and make sure we're covering everything that we need to cover, and we're getting the exact thing that we were after when we started this process.
And when you said dispatch, did you mean CMU or county?
I'm sorry, Isabella Central Dispatch. They'd some grassy little site out front that we were looking at, and if that works out, it did look like it covered fairly well. But again, you know, we're still in those planning phases, and they're doing a meeting today actually to you know, amongst themselves to try to figure out if it's actually really feasible. But it did look good at the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, Sheriff, I know this is gonna be a dumb question because that's kind of the day it is today, but just west or south of our farm, there's a huge state police tower that supplies, I think, probably the northern part of Michigan. Is that something that they would share to help Isabella County system or not, or is that pretty well proprietary?
So the whole thing is the state system. This tower will be the state system, and they will be required to find funding to do maintenance on it and stuff, you know, through them. So it is all the same system. So it will connect to that 6306 tower that I think you're talking about. It connects to all the towers in the state, basically. You know, in Grand Rapids here, I can communicate on my portable radio all the way back home and talk to one of my folks if I needed to. So it will tie into the state system. It's not Isabella County's system. If that makes sense.
That's kind of what I was kind of getting towards, if they're going to use that one or if it was already in use, because it's there.
Yep, that one's in use. That one covers our west there a little bit, or Rowell, and then you know, there's one down in McCosta County by Blanchard. There's one in Gratiot County. There's a couple in Midland, and when you get over in those corners of the county, we actually feed off in those as well. So it all those tie together. I can be up in Baraga and communicate on my portable radio all the way down to Detroit on this system.
Okay, thanks.
Does I'm gonna continue with stupid questions here. Does the tower that would be like in Mount Pleasant over there on Isabella Road cover Shepherd? I'm not sure what the range is of these.
So
that-
one of those.
Second phase.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that it's when we tested and we call it a mini or micro, the state doesn't like to call them that, but when we tested it a few years back on CMU, we actually did get some better penetration down in the Shepherd area into the school a little bit. So we're hopeful, but it is getting a little bit of a distance there. So the farther you get into those heavy constructions, you know, it doesn't penetrate as well. But if we could get this tower up, and if this is the place and location that we all decide and it's the right spot or whatever, the next thing we would do is we would go out, we would test not only CMU and some of the box stores in the city and the township, but we would also test, you know, those locations to try to make sure they are covered, and we, you know, we're not going to miss this piece all the way from, like I said, Union Township all the way to the tribe, because that is our biggest concern of issues. And then we're going to move down into Shepherd to make sure that school is covered. So we have some communications that are inside that school. And you know, working in Shepherd for many years, there are spots in the schools that it works and spots that don't. So it might be a little less of a lift to put a couple of BDAs here or there to make sure that we got some of the inner areas of the school covered. So it really is up to how the tower functions when we get it up and running, wherever the location's at. And it, you know, height has to do with the whole thing, and tree foliage, and you know, it gets pretty complicated. But we certainly want to test and make sure we're not missing any of those target areas.
Yeah, well, it's great that we have this opportunity with this money. Work you put forward and getting this in CMU. And obviously it's important if you've got a call in Shepherd High School or Soaring Eagle or CMU. To be able
Absolutely.
patients. I wish this was up today.
Yeah, we do too, but we want to make sure we're doing it right and that we get it right. We're not leaving any of our partners behind or anything like that. We want to make sure we have the best spot and the best stuff, and we're covering the goals that we want to cover.
Sure, I have no more questions.
Neither do I.
All right. Move to bring forward the consideration of grant agreement between Department of Technology Management and Budget Office of the Michigan Public Safety Communications System and Isabella County, the amount of $4,800,000 to the Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday.
And I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The motion has passed. We'll move that forward to the work session. Okay, we still have the sheriff up on the next item is consider approving the out-of-state travel request from the Isabella County Sheriff Office for Roger Marble to attend level 3 expert animal cruelty investigator training in North Andover, Massachusetts on March 20, 2023 through March 24th, 2023. Sheriff.
So as you know, animal control came under the sheriff's office here about a year ago. A few things that I wanted to accomplish, was some policies, procedures, some better equipment, better process and procedures and everything. And the other part of that was I wanted to increase some training, and there's not a lot of training out there for animal control officers, but he has had level 1 and level 2 through Isabella County. This third one, as kind of a unicorn, it's hard to nail down. It's all over the country, and this is the closest it's been the last few years per Roger. And we out of travel, I know sometimes is a little tougher, but he's indicated that he's going to kind of make a mini vacation out of it. I think he's got a friend that lives up into Canada that he's going to drive and see, and then he's going to slip down and do this training if it gets approved. Which will kind of reduce some of the cost a little bit for us as well. We do go over his budget line item by less than 100, plus we'll have to do some per diem for food and stuff. And I've been more than willing to pick that up out of one of my other either corrections or road or whatever. And I think it's important. He hasn't had training for a little while. I think it's important we get calls sometimes about certain investigations, and quite frankly, he's had a few that were big canine incidents and that he's investigated, and this is just one more thing that puts him in the right spot to be able to investigate those, to bring those cases to the prosecutor's office and for adjudication when they need to. And he really would like to get it, and I'd like to see him have it.
Okay, yeah, I really don't have a question except sometimes when you're in with those trainings, you learn more from your fellow attendees. You do sometimes the program, so find out what other counties are doing. That networking is always very important. So,
and I think this one, Commissioner, will be not only other counties, but I think there'll be people from other states. So you're absolutely correct. I'm at the sheriff's conference this week, and I think we learn more from bouncing things back and forth from my colleagues that we probably do in the session sometimes.
My only comments is I'm all in favor of training, especially people that may have not had training in a while. In my experience, going to conferences has always energized me and gotten me back into thinking about my job and and different ways I can do it. And training is a huge value, and I am glad that you're looking from top to bottom with your employees and making sure that they are seeking these activities.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
All right, move to bring forward the approval of state, out-of-state travel request for Isabella County Sheriff's Office for Roger Marble to attend level 3 expert animal cruelty investigator training in North Andover, Massachusetts on March 20th, 23 through March 24th, 23.
I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Okay, we will proceed to vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The motion has passed. We'll move that to the work session. And thank you, Sheriff. Enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thank you. Run quick, just for Ms. Frost. I'll have my phone, but I'll be listening to the finance administration. So if you have any questions, I'll be able to step out someplace where it's a little quieter and try to answer them if you have questions for me.
Awesome. Thank you,
Great,
Sheriff.
thanks.
Thank you.
For your day.
Okay, we're up to announcements. Is there any announcements? Okay, one last call to the public. The room is empty. We cleared it out, so there's no one here. Is there anyone on the phone? Okay, I will close the call to the public, and at this time, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Thanks. I can't believe it's Friday.